Greef Karga. As an agent of the Bounty Hunters Guild, Greef Karga secures bounty hunters in pursuit of valuable and rare quarries in the galaxy. Hello and welcome to Centurion's Corner, and today we are reviewing from the Star Wars The Mandalorian, Greef Karga, portrayed by Carl Weathers from Predator and the Rocky fame of the 80s, and it looks like it's portrayed quite well in plastic. In America, they've had these guys for quite a while. In the UK, they're just kind of sort of slowly dropping down. I've been a bit slow getting the review out, but I've only had it for about 4 or so days. So here he is in his little plastic box. We have that kind of reminiscence of the Mandalorian with that nice gold sheen coming through in the new packaging. Greef Karga down here. We've got his 2 pistols here. On the side, we've got the Carl Weathers imagery plus with the Mandalorians from season 1 up the top there. On the back, we've got his bio and that picture again, and he's number 6 in the Mandalorian line, with that line transcending still through right back to the start. So I guess without further ado, let's just crack this bad boy open. So here he is in his blister pack. We've got no hidden accessories there, we just blatantly got those 2 pistols. They're looking a bit plasticky in my opinion, but we get a good look through the review. So for first impressions, we'll just pull him out of the package. And yeah, actually I think the face sculpt doesn't look too bad. The first images that come out, they looked a bit old, but yeah, it looks alright. But this cape feels very, very plasticky and very kind of just feels fake and very sort of cheapy. But we'll see what we can do as we go through the review. So we'll see you in a mo. So here he is. I've been away taking his photos, and I must admit he photos really nicely. The actual look of Carl Weathers on the face there, it does look really good, and the detail is pretty good all generally over the figure. It comes with 2 accessories and they're both exactly the same, and it's kind of like this kind of Western-esque type little pistol. It does remind me of the little machine gun pistol from the old GoldenEye N64 game with this kind of end here. It just looks a bit odd. I've got nothing to reference this by, but it just doesn't look like it shoots out where it should technically be shooting out of. So I guess there maybe should be another hole or something there. They fit into both hands, so we've got a nice trigger finger on this side as well, and we can pull this one back. It's underneath his kind of anorak. We can slide them out. Quite easy holsters as well, no fiddly bits, and they just simply fit in both hands, which is pretty cool. So we can slide those back out and back into his holsters. Just very plain brown, a bit boring. There's no kind of weathering or anything on there, unfortunately. So we can just put those back in place. But actually, with the articulation and the proportions of this figure and the weight of the figure, I think Hasbro done really well. You can get him in all sorts of sort of gun-ho kind of like poses, you know, one-legged or just sort of stepping forward and whatnot. They've done really well. So with the head, we can do a rotation up here. We have got lower neck movement down there and also upper neck movement. You can look up this far, you can look down this low. Arm-wise, up, rotation at the elbow, a single jointed here over 90 degrees, rotation at the wrist and also on a hinge. We've got waist swivel. You can bend down this far, bend back this far. Leg wise, they can come up quite good because they're not actually sort of hindered by this sort of holster here. It's not glued in place. You can kick forward here and back quite far, to be honest. Got a rotation. We've got a single jointed knee and the rotation there at the knee as well, and the rocker and a pivot at the ankle. So in all, his actual posing and everything is pretty cool, and it's quite good with some of these newer figures, to be honest. His looks wise, we can take a closer look at that. The head, I have seen quite a few things on Instagram where sometimes the face print isn't done really well. It's kind of sort of like misplaced. But I think my one's done alright. I don't think it's a Zach Cold Weathers like for like, but it's not too bad. It's kind of like if I was going to look at the figure, I would know that it's Greef Karga straight away. So yeah, I think they're done pretty good. The actual texture and the actual detail that's actually gone into the actual sculpt of this is actually really good. So on the side here, you can see really inside, you see that extra stitching and all that texture all over it. And you can actually really feel it as well on the figure. We've got this extra bit of sculpt up here for the shoulder pad, and down here we've got the belt, which is done again with the little star in there, a bit like a sheriff's kind of badge sort of thing in there, which is all around. And even actually on the holsters, just slightly, there's a leather texture in there as well. On these legs, we have more texture going down, slightly different to the actual torso itself, a bit more webbed kind of type. Down to the boots, and yeah, unfortunately the detail on there is kind of a bit lost, but there is extra textures and stuff, as you can see in the light. The actual thing that's a bit off is this kind of like a half trench coat. If they made it a material, I think it still would look off. It's just very like a soft vinyl plastic. You can't really push it anywhere, you can't really do anything with it, so it just looks really kind of just a bit cheap looking in a way. It just looks like a horrible plastic mold. On the arms itself, we have got more texture and that kind of sort of soft material look down there, and also this kind of like medieval kind of quilted sort of gloves that we have. So in all, the actual detail on the actual figure himself is really good. My downside of the actual figure, he just looks so bland, and I just don't know why Hasbro have done that. I can understand it's cheap, but having this sort of brown torso here transcending into the same colours of the legs, I get it. It's probably how he is in the actual Mandalorian TV series, you know, but I would differential just a little bit slightly in the browns, because the brown matches the belt here as well. It's just really kind of like you're losing a lot of kind of detail there in there, and with the guns as well, it just sort of blands out a little bit too much. But the figure himself is good. It just, and the detail on there is really good. It's just that last part of details, even a bit of weathering, like maybe a bit of mud splat or something up the leg, just still break it up a little bit, would have helped. But unfortunately, it's just how he is. So I picked this guy up from Star Action Figures in the UK, and I think you can get these guys from pretty much most places at the moment. But if you're a Mandalorian kind of person that wants to collect all these figures, then 100% go for it. If you're just a person that's just collecting, I can't imagine that this guy's going to be super popular, unfortunately. But yeah, he's still really cool, and I'm glad that I got him in my collection. So that kind of brings me to the end of the video. So thank you so much for joining me on this review. You can subscribe, you can ding that bell, and also you can comment down below. And you can follow me on Instagram, which is in the description. And I have since actually released merchandise as well, which is, the website is down below if you want to pick up one of these t-shirts. So, or mugs, or masks. They sell loads of stuff on there, and I'll get a small proportion back into the channel. So thank you once again for joining me, and I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye.